And we are on the air, live, the debut of Captain Atheist. Well, if there's anyone listening today, I'd like to say that we had a few technical difficulties with some cables and gear and learning this equipment, so the musical presentation, things that we'd like to normally have, and me being just full-on Captain Atheist right off the bat, was preempted by this public service announcement about technical retardation. But we've got Gus, the miracle worker, is somewhere en route between Guitar Center and Captain Atheist headquarters, about to bring us the patch cable that we need so that we can stream you the music and many sound bites that we had all prepared. I would like to make a statement to all makers of technological equipment and gear and electronics that it's great to save trees and save paper, but not putting a booklet with the M audio unit was a real fucking blunder. So I guess what I'd like to do is just open up and say, hello, I am Captain Atheist. I come to you from the 25th century in order to battle the lies known as religion and God, and hopefully make a better future, a better world for the children of tomorrow who are now instead being born into a world of global conflict and lies. So starting next week, we'll be taking your phone calls. I hope to have a lot of you people calling in and participating. And I need that thing. I'm sorry. We're going to rough some things out here this first week, but like I said, hopefully by the middle of the show, we'll be able to get our music and stuff like that running. So once again, I'd just like to say hello to all of you and get ready for next week. I'd like to take your phone calls. Next week's program, this week we just want to introduce you to the show, the rough concepts of atheism. I'm sorry, we'll get through this, people, this beginning of this week, but it's a disaster, but we're not going to let it be a disaster. So what we'd like to do this week is we're just going to, after I give you this other part of the plan, we're going to just talk about some basic principles. Hopefully by the middle of the show we'll be able to get our music and our sound bites up. We had, today we wanted to have some words from Bill Maher, George Carlin, Jim Jeffries, and we haven't been able to do that. Okay, this is hilarious. It's going to be let's just go with comedy. My most important person in Captain Atheist's life is here having to deal with me in this crisis, and will probably kill me by the end of the show. I'm trying to pump something up. So yeah, we had what the situation was is wiring of all this gear to make everything work right, and things not being obvious, and this is what occurred. So we could have canceled and started next week. But I didn't think that was the route to go, and so that's not what we're doing. We're here, and we're going to try to wing this. This week we just wanted to get some basic principles on the concept of atheism and why we have an issue with religion. It's yellow. It says the one at the museum when we went on your birthday. The yellow. You're going the wrong way. It's way back there. A yellow picture of me sitting on the stuff. Okay. So anyway, and we wanted to, have a little bit of humor this week with it and everything else like that. So let me tell you about what we're going to be doing, which is, okay, cool. Okay, I'm asking my faithful leader to help me. Actually, Captain Atheist does have a leader. If you can post that one, like you said. Okay, so anyway, now let me get myself composed here. Yeah, so we wanted to just have a little bit of humor, give you the concept of atheism this week and what our issue is with religion, God, myth, and lies, and why we are advocates of science. You're going to be seeing, every week we're going to be having a serial episode that's kind of harkens back to the days of old-time radio, featuring Captain Atheist and a group of supporting characters in a series of adventures and misadventures. Hopefully going to be having some great guests coming up in the future. Excuse me. We also have a plan for the show as far as what you're going to hear. Next week's show is going to be a show that centers on the world of televangelists. We're going to talk about Jerry Falwell. We're going to talk about Jerry Falwell, Pat Robertson, Jimmy Swaggart, Oral Roberts, Robert Tilton, Jim and Tammy Faye Baker. We're going to talk about the crimes against humanity that these people commit in the name of religion. The following week, we're going to have an episode about the grand old party, the Republican Party, and my belief that you cannot separate radical right-wing Christian fundamentalism from the Republican Party. We live in a country here in the United States. For those of you listening overseas, you can understand this probably more clearly than a lot of Americans can, that, you know, when this country was founded, it was certain things were put in place in the laws of this country, the Constitution and subsequent supporting constitutional law, that states were going to live in a country that separates religion and state. And no sooner was that said than we were doing things like pledging allegiance to the flag, one nation under God. And so we're gonna talk about how we actually do live in a country that has been from day one absolutely having religion and state mixed together, and something that needs to end in the future if humans are going to evolve socially in the world and get along with their neighbors. The following week after that, we're going to talk about something that's going to be influenced by a great book called The Lucifer Principles. It's going to explain to you how all the major religions come from the same source, and yet somehow we are at an edge of global conflict with a bunch of people, other than their greed, fighting to determine whose imaginary friend is better than the other one. Which I'd rather, say I think Bugs Bunny is superior to God myself. But at least I can see him every week on my TV set. But we're going to be playing a lot of music on this show every week to break up the segments. We're going to have a great intro to this show that's in process of being recorded right now. It's going to probably flip a lot of you people out. Wanted to open the show this week with some Rob Zombie, and we couldn't play the music, but so that's going to be a plan. And then every once in a while we're going to take a break. We'll probably go 5 weeks on the topic of atheism and religion, and then we will we'll take a break and we'll have an off subject. I don't know whether that could be anything from heavy metal music to pornography, which we here at the Captain Atheist Show are absolute advocates of pornography and think pornography is a wonderful thing. And we need more pornography and less Bibles, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I can probably do that right now, brother. Okay, how's that?
Send me a note of rely on that. So, well, we're just getting this sussed out this week. I apologize that it's not the most poignant and biting kind of thing that you could hear, but I just wanted to make an opening statement. I said this on ITR. I first should thank my friends in the rotation, Ben Jordan, Vito Tomaselli, Sal Tomaselli, for giving Captain Atheist and his crew of anti-religious heroes a chance to hit the airwaves and try to make a difference. It's a great thing. So much gratitude toward those guys. I guess what I'd like to say to start with, so you know where I'm coming from, is that religion is something that to me is just strictly based in ego and vanity. Ego and vanity, and what that is that human beings basically, at their core, have a problem with accepting the limits of their own intellect and the finite nature of their lives. And so therefore I believe religion works only based upon ego and fear, and not wanting to accept the fact that our lives are one time, it's finite, it can leave at any given moment, and that there are things that we're never going to figure out and have the answers to. And I think this is the basis of why religion works. It's the greatest perpetration of a hoax and a fraud that's ever occurred in the history of humanity, and it's still affecting us today. I believe that for humanity, our technology has evolved thousands of years ahead of our consciousness, because if it had not, we certainly would not be having a man running for president that believes in magic underwear and thinks he's going to be a god someday, and that he's the one who is high and mighty. And we're going to get really hardcore in 2 weeks into Mr. Mitt Romney. I guess some of you are probably, today, the talk must be about last night's political debate between Romney and Obama, and I see that in the public approval ratings, it seems that Mr. Romney came out way the better on the debate as far as public approval. And I guess there's always going to be a lot of opinion here, and myself, man, I kind of don't understand why President Obama, in my opinion, always seems to have been a person that just, he never wants to say anything offensive. That's what I gathered from him. I've never seen him say anything that, he made a statement and it was just like a punch in the face to somebody. I mean, if I was debating Mitt Romney last night, I would be saying, first of all, when you were in high school, you, as the one who is high and mighty, gathered your cronies, attacked a young gay man in your school, held him down, and forcibly cut off his hair. Now, some people might think that's some kind of schoolboyish prank. Captain Atheist tells you that that is absolutely a violent assault. And you might say, how's it violent? Well, certainly there aren't nerve endings in hair that's causing physical pain like you're cutting someone with a knife, but I mean, let's face it, when he engaged in this act against this person, he emotionally and mentally traumatized this person for the rest of his life. And there were hundreds of witnesses to this incident, and yet somehow when asked during the course of this campaign in front of the press, Mitt Romney claimed he had no memory of this. And the next day, a bunch of noted behavioral clinical psychologists got together and determined that it's completely impossible that if he's not brain dead, if he's not mentally retarded, and he's able to engage in a sentence, there could be no way that he forgot that he had led this assault against this man. And it goes from there. You've got him claiming to be, pro-life, anti-abortion, which is, of course, also something connected very obviously to Christian fundamentalism. And but yet his company invested in the very $75 million in the corporation that disposes of fetuses from abortions, and Mitt Romney personally made millions of dollars off abortions, and now claiming he's going to create jobs in this country. That's great to say on a microphone and make everybody cheer where they're letting loose balloons, but the fact remains that the man has a public record. He has a record as a politician, a record as a person that votes on certain key issues. He has flip-flopped more on major issues in this country than any major political player in the history of the United States. You don't have to believe me. This is the world of instant information. You can do your own research and find these facts out. And I think this is one of the biggest problems. What I was going to say about the abortion is that, he makes, I already said that, he makes profit, millions of dollars off abortion. Now he's claiming he's going to make jobs. Well, the truth of the matter is what Mitt Romney really led in this country was the raiding of companies, shutting down of American businesses, taking Americans out of work, then going with his unmonitored business dealings and investments and opening up businesses in foreign countries. So that's just I wanted to mention the debates because that was last night and it was current and relevant to what everybody's talking about right this minute. So let's get into some concepts here about religion and where it comes from and what the problem is with it. Okay. Once again, going back to what I was saying earlier about where I think religion actually comes from, we have things that we don't understand in this world, the mysteries of the universe. Where did we come from? Why are we here? These are the questions humanity has been asking for millennium now, and I think the first thing that should be said there is, guess what? We're never going to know the answers to these questions. So stop trying to figure it out. One of my favorite filmmakers, everyone that knows anything about Captain Atheist knows, is George Romero. You remember there's a scene in his Day of the Dead, the original, where three of the survivors are sitting in this bomb shelter, and one of the characters, Terry Alexander plays the character, explains that they're sitting in a bunker with all the microfilm of all the greatest movies, all the books that were ever written, all the records of all the public disasters, the fires, the earthquakes, the floods, and here they are sitting in a post-apocalyptic world with hardly any human beings left. And he says, if we're going to survive and bring these children back, what we're going to do is teach them to never come over here and dig these records up. And he goes on to say that he believes the Creator has visited a curse on humanity because the Creator got tired of mankind trying to figure his shit out.